again, everybody. I missed you all so much that I decided to come back and do this once again. So join host Eric Miller, registered nurse for nearly 20 years, an adjunct clinical instructor, and me, Morgan Johnson, the very first honored guest of the Feeding Our Young podcast, as we chat about what I've been up to in the last 2 years since my last episode. Do I have the same views on nursing and nursing school? Where has life brought me? Let's find all of this out and more. Welcome to this special Welcome Back episode of the Feeding Our Young podcast.
Hello and welcome to this very special Welcome Back edition episode of the Feeding Our Young podcast. And it's the very first Welcome Back edition. I have a few honored guests that have reached out to me semi-recently and said, hey, Eric, remember how you talked about like maybe we come back and update what we're doing and all the things? I'm ready to do it. And I'm like, sweet, let's talk about it. Let's schedule some dates. Let's do this. Let's do that. And so let's be real. Life is busy, life is crazy, and time passes relatively quickly. And so here I'm sitting here, and I thought about it as people were and it's only been a couple people that have said, hey, let's do this sort of thing. And I thought, before we entertain them, I gotta reach out to our very first honored guest. And I said, to myself, I said, it'd be most appropriate, of course, to cut my teeth on the special Welcome Back episode, being the very first one, being the very first honored guest, who did the very first episode way back when. So with that, let's just not waste any time. I can't wait for guests, let's find out. Is she just as joyful and bubbly as she was 2 years ago? Is she cynical now? Has time weathered her? Is she the living embodiment of the meme that goes, everybody's seen that meme, right? Where you see hi, I'm a brand new nurse, and they look all perky and preppy and cute. And then there's the side-by-side picture with this haggardy old whatever. I've been a night shift nurse for a year or something like that. Let's find out if she embodies that or if she's still the same old Morgan. So without further ado, the one, the only Morgan Johnson. Morgan, welcome back.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Oh my gosh, Morgan. I'm and I gotta tell people behind the scenes, I call someone ahead of time, hey, Morgan, hi, here's how we're going to get into studio. Let's remind how things work, blah, blah, blah. But I had to do everything within my power not to sit here and oh my gosh, so what have you been up to? Because we're going to be doing it for the podcast. I'm going to make you do it twice, once for me and then once for everybody. Yeah, So no, and first of all, thank you, Morgan. I'm so excited to reconnect with you.
Yes, of course. I feel so honored to be here again.
Oh my gosh. And we were chatting a little bit beforehand and we talked about, it's been 2 years. I can't believe it's been 2 years. And yet life is life. And, I've made no bones about some of the things I've been through in the last 2 years. So in some ways it feels longer than 2 years. It feels like there's been a couple lifetimes sandwiched in there, but some fun. Yeah. How does it feel? Here's your very first question. And it's just it's an ego stroke on my part. No, but how does it feel being the very first honored guest? Back then I told you, I got 20 of you that said yes, 16 of which ended up, coming on, four ended up backing out, which is fine. I'm not going to name names.
It's going to be bitter.
No, this is not the purpose of this. But how does it feel I told you then, I was like, I don't know, it might be the 16 of you and we're good to go. But how does it feel being the first of what is now 134 honored guests and counting?
Wow. Okay, that's incredible, first of all. But also, I think it's so cool to see the impact that you've made on not only future nurses, but also current nurses. I know there's still nurses that listen to it, So yeah. It's so cool to be able to contribute to the rising profession of nursing in this way. So kudos to you and thank you for having me.
Well, kudos to you because you were like, yeah, Eric, I trust you enough. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Both of us have separately, not at my request, but both of us have separately re-listened to our first episode, some things never change over time. So today was my 220th half marathon in my life. And I'm like, what better way to listen to Morgan's episode than while running? But some interesting fun facts for everybody because, golly, 134 honored guests. I can't even, this is not an ego stroke. I legit cannot believe I've sat down and talked with 134 people. That counter doesn't go up talking with you today, Morgan, because we already talked with you once. So you're not a unique individual. It's just Morgan again.
Episode count, not just people count.
Exactly. So this is the, we will have, at the time of this recording, I haven't published this many, but I've recorded 195 episodes. And so we're getting close to the 200. And I was almost like, oh my gosh, it would be so cool if Morgan could be like the 200th. But no, sadly, you will not be the 200th because the other side of this is the date situation. And so I look back, and Morgan, you and I sat down. We're reminiscing. I'm sorry, guys. This is welcome to the first welcome back episode. We're going to reminisce for a second. It really is. You know me well. But no, I go back and I think about because the first two episodes I recorded, I wanted it to be episode 0, which was just me talking. But the Riverside wouldn't let me do an episode 0. So it had to be episode 1. But episode 2, the very first honored guest episode, is you. And I don't know if you remember, but I was sitting in this conference room, a giant teaching room at Gonzaga, which was very cavernous and kind of echoey. And I did not like any of that. And as I'm listening to it today, I was like, you can't really even tell. Okay, great. Yeah. Because I haven't upgraded since then. I just do it in my bedroom at this point.
Yeah.
But it's just weird to me that 2 years ago, and we recorded on June 14th. Today is
2 years.
June 5th. So we're just about a week, just over a week shy of exactly 2 years ago when we recorded. But the reason why Morgan's episode is getting bumped up, it's not episode 195, is because I wanted this episode, to release within one day of the 2-year anniversary of the first episodes dropping, which were yours and mine. So Morgan, it's a full circle moment, and I'm so happy that you're willing to do this and just part of all this fun.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here again.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we've kind of already touched on the answer to the question here, but I've posed that, hey, are you have you become a cynical, bitty old nurse, or are you as bubbly as you have been in the past, or at least as laughy as you have been in the past? So, how you feeling these days?
Good. Life's good. Work's good. Home life's good. It's all good. Yeah. Kind of what we were talking about when we started. It's crazy to see how much has changed in the last 2 years, and the previous episode that I was on was I still had a year left of nursing school, which I just can't even believe and fathom, and I still had practicum to go through and the NCLEX to take, and now here I am. It's all of those happened centuries ago. I don't know.
And it feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And if you don't mind sharing for the audience, as we chatted before we started, and I said, hey, so my plan is to, let's just maybe pick up where you left off. We're going to maybe talk about your practicum experience and the NCLEX. And when I said NCLEX, what was your response to me?
I was like, wait, I've done that? It felt like so long ago.
And it's only been about a year since you took the NCLEX. Yes. And yet you've already put it out of your mind.
Yeah, for real.
So let's do as I said. You guys, we're not going down a straight timeline here. Let's just get caught up with Morgan, because I do have some very pointed questions. I kind of have these ideas of things that I want to ask guests that are coming back, especially people like you, Morgan, who maybe recorded their first episode as a nursing student and now has had experience, and that changed. 1 year of experience, y'all. 1 year. I don't even less than that. It
Let me tell you.
And we're going to find out how it changes you. But let us go ahead and get caught up. So you were 1 year into your nursing school adventure. You had 1 year left. And so practicum, I guess, talk to us about practicum. Did you get what you want? Where did you go? How was it?
Yeah, I was at a local Spokane hospital for practicum Sacred Heart, and I was on the cardiac floor, cardiac med surge. And I liked the med surge aspect of it, but cardiac was not my forte. And that's exactly what practicum's there for. Like it's, there
Yeah.
to figure out what you want to do. Do you want to do this? Or what floor do you want to go apply to moving forward, etc. And I liked the critical aspect of it, but the cardiac aspect of it wasn't my favorite. Like the monitoring and all that, it wasn't my favorite. So I learned a lot there, and I'm so grateful for my time there. And I had two preceptors. Mostly had one though, and she was amazing. The best preceptor I've ever had in that capacity. So 10 out of 10, but I just didn't love the cardiac floor. But like I said,
Yeah.
that's what practicum's there for. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. That's okay. And like you
Yeah.
said, there are people that get practicums that aren't anywhere near what they think they're going to go into,
Yeah, exactly.
if they have an idea. And
For
so the
sure.
fact that you even got part of it
Yes.
is
Yeah.
just awesome.
Very
And you
grateful.
were able to rule out cardiac at the time
Yeah,
too, at
for
the same
sure.
time.
Not to
So
say that I'll never do it, but for now, no.
never say never.
Never say
Never
never.
say never. So you got through practicum, you graduated. I distinctly remember your pinning ceremony. So many tears, like
So many.
just oh.
I'm a crier.
Oh yeah,
Seven
yeah. I was talking about you. That's what I meant. Yeah, I wasn't talking about me.
times. Everybody.
So you graduate. You go to pinning ceremony and all the things. How did that feel to finally achieve that goal?
Crazy, insane. I think pinning ceremony, like at Gonzaga, we did the pinning ceremony one day and then graduation the next day. And I am like bound and determined that pinning ceremony was like the end all be all. I was like, that is the most incredible thing ever. So special. I'm such a crier that I cried the entire time. I cried on stage. It was just so sentimental to me, and it was awesome. So that was very surreal. And to know that, like, okay, this isn't like the end, but this is like the beginning of so many good things in my career that are coming up. So
Yeah.
it was very nice. Very good ceremony.
Oh, and
Yeah.
then you take the NCLEX. So you have to sit for the NCLEX. So if you wish, go ahead and, how did you prep for it? How long did you wait? And what was the NCLEX experience like?
Well, I took the NCLEX. We graduated like May 10th, I want to say, 2025. And then my NCLEX was the 18th of June, 17th or 18th of June.
Okay.
So a little over a month. But I didn't start preparing until the first week of June. And I did that. So I took a vacation, and there's pros and cons to like, I'm out of here. I'm going to dodge town,
Yeah.
Some part of me was like, man, I really wish I could just take my NCLEX and get it over with. Other part of me was like, okay, I needed that reset. So pros and cons, but I only studied for like.
Let me ask you. Sorry to interrupt you. Let me ask you.
you're
Then.
good.
So was that 5-week wait because you chose that so you could go on vacation, or was that the earliest like available slot you could sign up for?
I actually chose it because I was on vacation.
Nice.
But
Okay.
I chose like late June. And then I was like, okay, I'll give myself like a month to study. And then June, the first week of June, I really hammered down. And I was like, okay, I'm going to study for the month. It's going to be like rise and grind, basically. And after like a week, I think it was like a week, and I was like, there's no way I can do this for the next month. Like, I'm going to do it or I'm not. And it's fine. Like, if I don't pass it, I can always redo it. But the anxiety that it was bringing me, I have to get it over with. So I signed up for one like 3 days later, and I took it, and here I am.
Wow. Oh, that's
I honestly studied that whole entire time, and it was rise and grind for those few days, or like that. It was like a 2-week period, 10 days or something. And yeah, so here I am. I successfully did the NCLEX.
I love it. I mean, obviously, otherwise we're having a different conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's it like being a gardener now, Morgan? No, any practical tips for anyone listening that's like, oh my gosh, it's coming, I'm dreading it. Like, is it as bad as they said it was? And then what are your practical tips for getting prepared for it?
I'd say it wasn't. In some aspects, it was as bad as I thought it was going to be. In others, it was much better.
Okay.
I think Gonzaga specifically does a really, really good job. And kudos to all the professors that like phrase test questions exactly like the NCLEX was. I really appreciated that. We had Kaplan all throughout nursing school to help prepare us, and we did like Kaplan exams and things, which is an NCLEX preparation something. And
Horse?
so we did horse.
Yes, there it is.
Exactly.
We got it. We can get it together here.
That, yeah, horse brains. So we did that all throughout nursing school, and I think that was really helpful. I ended up choosing archery though, like right when I started studying. I did like a 7-week or a 7-day trial of it, and it was really, that one I liked because you could see the like you could be like above average or like, or how did it go, like above passing or still have to study type of thing. So all those exams that you took, if you got like above passing like 5 times, for example, then you were more likely to pass the NCLEX. So I think that gave me a better vote of confidence than Kaplan did. And I would say that the NCLEX questions were more like Archer. So
okay.
Pros and cons to all of them. I was very thankful for Kaplan all the way through nursing school. But just like last minute decision to do Archer really helped me. And then I also I would listen to podcasts. I would go on a walk in the morning and I would listen to the podcast as like background noise. And then to study, I would sit down and I would re-listen to the podcast, take notes, and then do a couple exams that day as well. And that seemed to help me. And what I didn't know, I would write down and study a little bit more. So
awesome.
Yeah, that was good. I will say I studied for the NCLEX. And then the last day I was like, I'm going to take the whole day off. It's going to be great. I'm going to sleep, all these things. I did not do that. I decided to study more. And it was a terrible decision. So the last day, sleep, like do what you do.
Yeah.
Have fun. Take the time for yourself. Because the next day is a big day. So I'll never forget. I took this test on the last day of studying that I told myself I wasn't going to do. And then there was like this really weird name of something. And I was like, I have no idea what this is talking about. But you know what? It's not going to be on my NCLEX, so I don't need to know it.
No way.
And then, the next day, one of the last questions was this. And I was like, you're kidding me. I don't know what that is. I still don't.
Well, and it's funny because you're almost now making the case to study that next day because you're like, here was this one thing that you didn't know what it was, and yet it showed up on the test.
It showed up, and I still passed. I got it wrong, and I still passed. So let that be true, that you don't have to study the first day or the last day, I promise.
I mean, you don't know what it was, so you might have got it right.
I could have, but I don't think so.
You didn't feel super confident about this weird unknown thingamabob. Oh my gosh. No, and I appreciate you saying that. And you guys, if you're not a longtime listener, you know what I mean, you're just picking up maybe here at Morgan's Case or whatever, go back and listen to episode 169. That is Carly Petrusso's second episode, and she talks about failing her NCLEX and the way she prepped the first time. And then she was like, no, because as soon as she failed, she was like, Eric, I want to be on the podcast again. I want to talk about this experience. I want to be totally open and honest. And she talks about everything she did, including cramming, studying, and cramming is never a great... It may work in nursing school. It may work. It definitely works in high school for some of us. but it does get you, you know what I mean? You can still get some results with it. With the NCLEX, it works against you, right? Would you say that, Morgan?
For sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Awesome. Yeah. So you passed the NCLEX. Congratulations. Yay, so exciting and all the things. You talked in your first episode about maybe like doing a half summer, like taking a half summer break, just enjoying life before you do this career you're going to have for the rest of your life. Were you able to do that, or was it just the little vacation? Oh, yeah.
It was.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us all about that.
I started August 18th. At my current job, and that was the best 3-month summer I've ever had. Like, I crammed so much in. That was part of the reason why I just wanted to get the NCLEX done and over with too, because I didn't want my whole summer to be devoted to it. And I knew that like you just have to be confident, and it'll work out. So I knew that it was going to work out one way or another, whether I had to take it again or whatever the universe held for me. So I definitely fit a lot in last summer for sure. Did a lot of trips, saw a lot of family that I obviously hadn't seen being in school for a while. So
hi, remember me? My name's Morgan. I'm still alive.
I think we're related. So a lot of things happened. A lot of good things happened last summer. So
Incredible. And maybe also would you describe it maybe as a pressure release? You know what I mean? Like after all the 4 years before?
Yes. Yeah. It was so weird to just like, I don't know. I wanted to really soak up the last summer, and like, it's just, now being a nurse for a year, you have to take PTO and you have to like, like, it's just so different than just like picking up and leaving whenever I wanted. So
Uh-huh.
I really took advantage of that last summer and did all I could. Now here I am taking
Good.
PTO.
Well, and you were able to start your career without any regrets in that regards, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Because, I mean, there's some people that are like, nope, I got my job lined up, but I'm starting
Yeah.
as soon as I pass the NCLEX.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yes.
Everybody's a little bit different. Whatever works. But,
Yeah.
man, I wish I could have done, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
100%.
Take advantage of it.
Okay, so the way I want to ask this, you know what I mean? You said in your first episode that you
Mhm.
were so thankful, you know, why you became a nurse, right? You had that pretty blonde nurse in blue scrubs when you were
Yes.
5, and then fast
Oh,
forward to
just
high
like
school, and you fast forward to high school, and there was a teacher who had said, you know what, Morgan, you love the sciences, you would make an amazing nurse, something you should think about, and that seemed to solidify that for you.
Mhm.
So now, do we love that teacher still, or do we hate that teacher after having a year in the fire?
I love her still. Love her dearly. We still are in contact. Love Dr. Santucci. She's the best. I think I've just learned a lot. Like it's, it's a really special profession. It's really incredible to be there with somebody at their most vulnerable stages of life, whether that's a celebrity or, you're celebrating or you're grieving the end of life or whatever walk you're in. It's really special to be there. So I applaud Dr. Santucci for encouraging me to pursue the profession.
And you said you all are still in touch. So I don't know when this happens, but when you told her for the first time that you did actually become a nurse, like, is there something like, what was that like for her? Was she just so excited? Like, were you like, hey,
so excited.
yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I'll never forget. I texted her on the way home from graduation. I was driving home and I was bawling the entire car ride, of course, because I just left all of my people in Spokane and I'm a nurse now, I guess. And that was overwhelming to me.
Oh.
But I texted her and I was like, Dr. Santucci, like I finally did it. And she was in all caps. She's like, I couldn't be more proud of you. This is the best thing ever. And just so sweet. So she's great.
Well, and to me, that feels like, you know what I mean? We've talked about, and you've probably definitely experienced by now, patients who are so grateful for your care, the impact you've made on their life, et cetera, et cetera. And so, like, that must be the teacher equivalent, right? To hear a former student go, and she knows, she, said, hey, Morgan, man, you should just consider this. And yet here you are, your whole life trajectory solidified, at least, if not created, because one teacher said, hey, I see this in you. You know what I mean? Like, that's got to just make her like, oh, that's just so cool. So, okay, so you've been a nurse for a year. You took your amazing summer. In your first episode, you talked about how weird you were and wanted to be a med-surg nurse. No, it's true. Not weird. No,
it was weird.
No, I mean, I get.
Hot take, I should say.
Yeah, it's a hot take. Let's not say it's weird. That's a little judgmental, I feel like.
It's a hot take.
No. But I mean, it's an unusual hot take. It's not where most people land. And so, is that what you did? Describe for us. I mean, have you been at the same job for the last year? What'd you do? What are you doing?
I did pursue med-surg and I love my job. I'm part of a nurse residency program, which I think is very common when you graduate now. It might just be on this side of the mountains. I don't really know, but you graduate and basically you have a year long that you're a part of like different classes and different mentorships and you have a preceptor. I had a preceptor for 4 months.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
So I was able to do days. I think I was on days for like a month and a half and then I switched to nights. And had different preceptors, obviously, but I had 4 total preceptors, and I think that really gave me a wide perspective of different nursing approaches and workflows and all those different things. So yeah, definitely love med-surg still. There's pros and cons, but ultimately I do love my job, and I think I made the right decision. I think med-surg is really unique in the sense that you get a lot of different cases and a lot of different diagnoses and things, which is really cool to me as a new grad, just because I feel like I'm learning so much and really soaking it all in. And I don't know if I would have that opportunity on another more specialized floor. So I do think I made the right choice. It's been good.
Good. And that straight up answers, one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, did you make the right choice? And so obviously it'd be a little awkward if you didn't. And any of your peers happen. You're like,
Yeah.
nobody listened to this podcast. You don't want to hear anything. At least just skip over this one episode.
Yeah,
No,
don't
and
listen to that.
I'm that just makes my heart happy. You know what I mean? Like, because some
Mm-hmm.
people do, they have this idea of what they want to do in nursing school, and then they hit real life, and it's like, oh, for you, maybe a little bit of that was in practicum, right? Like,
Oh, for sure.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
cardiac. Okay,
Ooh,
yeah,
I
okay,
don't
that
know.
part, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So let's ask that question then. That's all right. We're having such a great time. AirPods are flying out of
Falling
our
out.
ears. So let's ask that question. Talk about expectations versus reality. What did you think it would be like, and how has your actual experience compared?
I have like two big expectations that really stick out to me. And I think one of them came from, I'd say they kind of both came from clinicals in nursing school, to be honest with you, because that's all I ever knew. My first expectation, which is crazy of me to even think, but I was like, I'm going to love picking up shifts. I'm going to love going to work. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to pick up all the time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
let me tell you, I was 100% wrong. I picked up once and I hated it. So, and I think mostly because our hospital's so well staffed that's my other expectation. But it's so well staffed that when you pick up, you get like the bottom of the totem pole. Like you are not doing good that day. So like you're getting floated to places you don't want to get floated to. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably what stemmed it. But also I think it's really important to have a work-life balance. And I felt like when I picked up, you just didn't have it. Partly because I'm on nights, so like you sleep all day, you prepare all day for it, and then they call you at 5:30 and they either cancel you or they say you're coming in. So to be canceled at 5:30 after you just slept all day messes you up. So I picked up I signed up to pick up a few times in like a 2-week period, and I was having horrible sleep. I wasn't seeing my people. Like it was just horrible. So I didn't love it. So the reality is that you really need a work-life balance. You need time away from work, and ultimately that makes you a better nurse, and just allows you to pour into your patients better because you're giving into yourself too. So that's my first expectation versus reality. And my second expectation is that work would be a one-man band, and like I would be doing things all by myself, and I would be like hunting down nurses in order to find answers to my questions.
Yeah.
But I really don't think that's true. And I don't know if it's just my hospital, but like I said, we're so well staffed that like at this point, we're almost a 1-to-1 nurse tech ratio, which is just incredible, especially on nights, which is crazy.
That's amazing.
Which is great. And then in addition to that, we have our nurse resource, which is a nurse that just floats around. They don't have their own set of patients. So they're floating around and can ask or to answer any questions or do med passes or help with wound cares or whatever we need. So I think that expectation, like, oh, I'll be in it by myself, like I'm just going to go to work and be miserable, is 100% not true. And I'm so grateful for the staffing and the management's awesome. Like I really don't have complaints other than feeling a little burnt out, but that's it.
Well, I mean, okay, then let's talk about that. This is obviously a positive podcast. I had one person, God bless her, I loved it so much. She was like, yeah, sometimes, like she goes, I've been listening to your podcast and it's just really helped me get through, some of my, she was going back for advanced education. And I said, oh, thank you. That means so much to me. She goes, to be honest, every once in a while it's a little too positive for me. And I needed something a little more real, a little more cynical.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I get that. That's not my space. Like, I totally get it. But let's talk about, like, you just used the words burnout. You've been a nurse 1 year, and you just, you're talking about feeling a little burnout. So what does that feel like in someone who's been doing the job for a year?
I think it's not necessarily the job that's making me feel burnt out. It's unfortunately the patient population that we have right now. It's a lot of psych. We don't have a psych floor at our hospital. So I'm getting, and kudos to psych nurses, bless their hearts, because I don't think I could do it full time, but I feel like I'm doing it part time right now because we've had a lot of them recently. And I think I really love psych patients, honestly, but at the end of the day, you really feel burnt out. Like you're just like chasing them all night long. Their bed alarms are going off. They're calling for random reasons. And it's hard to see. Like they don't know where they're at. They're saying things that I know don't hold true to their heart. So it's hard. At the end of the shift, I'm like, oh my gosh, is it them going crazy or is it me? Like, I'm gonna go home crazy.
I can't remember who started out crazy in this scenario
Yeah,
and who.
for real. Like
No,
it's
and
just crazy. So
I'm glad you bring that up because it's something we're talking about here, even still back, here in my home. We have talked about as nurses just how poorly psych is. There's not the resources to meet the overwhelming needs that seem to be in
mhm,
society currently.
for
Um,
sure.
and, and and it's so hard to watch. It's hard to be part of, because, man, people like this is just. If anybody wants a guaranteed job for the rest of your life, become a psych nurse. You know what I
Become a
mean,
psych
or
nurse.
a psych nurse practitioner. Even more
Yes.
specifically, we
Yeah.
need providers. We need people with compassion for people who have
hmm
those issues. And I have compassion,
Yeah.
having some mental health stuff in my own family,
hmm
but not enough to make a career out of it. So let's be real. Let's be real about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's
Um,
hard.
so you talk about
Yeah.
this, not burnout with the job per se, but maybe with current circumstances,
Yeah.
and you
It's
touch,
totally a current thing.
yeah,
And
and
it was
you
never like this until recently.
you're like,
Promise.
this is new, this is brand
This
new,
is
everybody.
new.
I anticipate it maybe going
Last
away,
couple of
right?
weeks.
After a little bit, yes.
Yeah.
But this does then segue right into what you had already touched on, which is work-life balance. So you said it's super important. What does that look like for Morgan?
My work-life balance, I definitely take advantage of my days off. Um, like I go places, I see people, even on my days, like this could also be a hot take, but I flip like I'm night shift, right? But I flip
Mm-hmm.
immediately. Like that same day, I only take like a 2 hour nap and then I flip back so that I can like see my people.
Yeah.
So that is a big work life balance thing for me. I think if I slept all day and like recuperated and recovered from that shift, that I would just miss out on a lot. So even though I'm like losing a little bit of sleep and maybe some sanity, I'm seeing my people. So that's important to me.
Trade-off
And
is
doing
worth it.
fun things and it's worth it. Yeah, definitely. I have a schedule where I have 5 days off every other week, so that I take advantage of that. It just happens to be
Nice.
over a weekend too, which is nice. So
Do you still,
yeah,
so when you have those 5 days off, do you still do the 2 hour nap and then like get about your first day? Or because you have that longer leash off of work, do you end up sleeping a little bit more? You know what I mean? And then making the flip.
I'd say like I'll go to bed at like 10 maybe that day, and then I'll wake up at like 2 p.m. So a little bit longer of a nap, but I can still go to bed at 8 p.m. no problem. So I can
You're like,
flip,
don't you worry,
no
everybody.
problem.
Well, and
Yeah.
I've never been ageist. I'm not going to be ageist, but there's a huge difference between doing that in your 20s and then
Yeah,
doing it
for
in your
sure.
30s and then in your 40s. Like I started feeling the difference. Like for me, I could, even because I started as a nurse at 30, right? And
hmm
I could, sleep for, it'd be about 4.5 hours on my, first day off and then feel functional again. You know what I mean? Or at least drag my butt through the day enough,
Yes.
then go to bed at a normal
To feel
time, and then
sleep.
I was
Yeah.
good. But as I got older in my 40s, it genuinely, I needed 5.5. The 4.5, I just felt sick and all the things. So age
Yeah.
definitely does play a part in that,
Oh,
everybody.
for sure. Yeah. I don't
Um,
recommend for everyone, but if you're young and can do it, do it.
well, and so that brings me to this question that popped into my brain while we've been talking about night shift, and that is just your practical advice for those that are like, hey, we're probably gonna have to start a night shift, and I
hmm
don't like it, I'm dreading it. So, what is your practical advice to everybody as far as like, what do you do? What helps you?
I'd say I actually, kind of a little background. I distinctly remember talking to my managers. We had a manager meeting, just like we had it monthly for the first 3 months.
Yeah.
And I remember telling them it was my last one on days. And I was like, I'm actually terrified to go to nights. Like, I hate the schedule that I have that was provided. I said it in a kind way, but I was like, this is going to suck. And I'm here to say it didn't really suck as much as I thought. I only had like 3 days off at max during the preceptor time, which wasn't my favorite. I'm very grateful for 5 now.
Yeah.
But I would say prepare before. Like, I used to be able to sleep until like 10 a.m. and then I would go back to bed at 1 for whatever reason, thinking that I would be tired enough after only being awake for 3 hours. But I was wrong because I would never sleep. And
Yeah.
like, I going to bed at 1, hoping to get up at like 5 for my shift, I just couldn't sleep. So now I wake up early, like 6 or 7, and then I am able to go back to bed at 1 and wake up
Hmm.
at like 4 or 5 and then start my stretch of shifts. And I'll say like the first night's gonna suck. You're gonna be tired. If you can sleep on your breaks, like sleep on your breaks. I do that. And then the last day, like flip back pretty quickly so that you can still see your people like we chatted about. So
Yeah.
that's my night shift advice. It's really not as bad as you think it will be because you learn so much. I think there's this stereotype of like nights is so quiet and like, yes, I said the keyword. I said it. But,
Here, you legitimately, in talking with 100 plus, nurses and nursing students and educators, you might be the first one to use the quiet word here on the podcast. Legitimately. Oh my gosh.
That's me. Okay, maybe it's like slow. I don't know. But I think there's a stereotype that it's like slow or the Q word. But it's really not. Like recently, and again, maybe it's just me. And like, I was actually talking to one of my mentors recently and I was like, I don't know if it's just me or if it's the floor right now, but I am questioning my time management. Like it sucks.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't even get my 6 med passes done by 10 and I used to be able to, no problem. So I'm like, what is going on? But she's like, it's not a you problem. Look at the floor. Like it's just crazy. So around like the 2 to 3 a.m. time, there's a little bit of downtime. And I think that night shifters really take advantage of that and soak in a lot of learning opportunities. So there's pros and cons to night shift. I'm learning to love it.
Some night shifters take advantage of that and soak in a lot of learning. Others of us that if you got that lull, and I guess that's kind of one of the main differences, right? Like I feel like, again, there is a misnomer that night shift is quieter, or you know what I mean? I mean, it is in the sense that there's less bodies, you have less resources, but there are less people bothering your patients and coming in and coming around and all the things. But guess what? People are still sick. Oddly enough, like diseases don't like sleep at night. No, it's very strange. Promise. And some actually like wake up more at night. And so with all of that, night shift is still busy. However, now having been a day shifter for a good couple of years after 17 years of nights, I will say like on an average night, regardless of what unit I had been on, typically you're like you had just said, and you kind of confirmed that for me. There's a little bit of a lull, right? Like about 3 a.m., typically about 3 to 4 on a really good night, 3 to 5. But then you're ramping back up for, you know what I mean? All your 6 o'clocks and all the things. Yeah. And man, like, it's so like I never clocked out missed break, even if I didn't quite get a break, because there were times we're all sitting at the nurse's station just having a good time and laughing and doing that. And you're like, yeah, no,
that's my break.
I can't morally justify I missed my break because we were having fun. Now on day shift is a different story. I've clocked out more times, missed break, but that's a whole different ball of wax, right? Like whatever. There you go. Night shift, day shift, loads of fun.
Each shift brings their own.
Exactly. So, I mean, you've been there a year, and I've heard some, I wouldn't call them horror stories. There may be horror stories for some, but you know what I mean? You've been there long enough. There's some peers, even from your class, that are like, or even the cohort before, that is like, after a year, I was getting, I'm orienting people. I was asked to be charged. At 1 year, I have some of the most experience on my floor. Like, you hear some of these things. So for you, is that something you've experienced? Have you precepted anybody yet?
Ironically, yesterday, one of my nurse residency classes was a preceptor class. So we're gearing up to precept, which is crazy to me. We don't have students on nights, so I haven't had students. I know that some people from my cohort actually at Gonzaga have had students because they're day shifters at my hospital. So they've had students already, but the thought of being charged right now is terrifying. I feel like I don't know enough.
Yeah.
And I have incredible charges that I would never, ever wish to take their position. They're amazing. So, but I feel like there's a lot of opportunities to like excel in your career, even though you're not like precepting or you're not being charged or, there's lots of other movement that can take place. So I'm happy with where I'm at, but look forward to whatever's to come.
That's
not
so cool.
Charge anytime soon, but I would think not about precepting.
Well, I love it when this happens, Morgan, because then like my next question for you, like you are creating the natural segues into the next questions that I'm like sitting here furiously typing to make sure that I don't forget to ask.
Make sure I get them.
Yeah. The next one was, what are your plans for the future?
Oh my gosh. Well,
And I mean, even if it's as simple as do what I'm doing now and do it better, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you have to have all these major goals, but what you've been in the job a year, what does the future look like for you?
I think, okay, honestly, I've never looked for jobs more than I have recently, only because of the burnout. But
Yeah.
now that I'm like, I feel like I'm getting out of it. I was able to take 6 days off. No PTO, by the way. That's the pro of nursing. And I feel like I was a little bit rejuvenated. Not even a little. I was rejuvenated from that time off. So
Yeah.
I feel better. I'm not as burnt out. I just needed a break. Like I said, work-life balance is so important. But I, with that being said, I was looking for outpatient jobs because I love bedside, but I'm like, how long can I do this for? But something yesterday in my residency class that we were talking about was that it's hard to, or it's easy to want to leave what's comfortable, but once you actually leave what's comfortable, it's like, whoa, like now you're in the uncomfortable and it's hard. So I'm not ready to leave. Like ultimately, the more that I've thought about it, I'm just not ready to leave. I love my people. I love my schedule. Why would I ever give up 5 days off?
Yeah.
And there's just so many pros about it. I'm learning so much. So I plan to stay and then see where it takes me after that. But I mean, like I said, there's opportunities to grow. Our unit's really been pushing meds or certified med surg nurse, going through that exam process and stuff. So, and I have to wait 2 years anyways with that. So that could be something in my future. So there's things that like I could do to change it. But I'm comfortable where I'm at. So it's hard to leave, especially when it's so good and my management's amazing. It's just hard for me to want to leave. So that's my plan. Stay where I'm at.
That's so awesome. I mean, here you are. You said I wanted to be in med surg, where most nurses like, dear God, I hope I don't have to go to med surg. And like I said, we need passionate med surg nurses. No, I mean, you know what I mean? And I hope there's plenty more Morgans out there. I want a Morgan taking care of me. God forbid if I ever end up, you know what I mean, on a med surg unit. That being said, you know what I mean? And so to hear you here 1 year out saying, you know what I mean? No, I kind of like, you know what I mean? I like it. I like where I'm at. I'm comfortable where I'm at. And it sounds like you've got a great team. And that's a huge part of it. Because you can go somewhere, you can always be like, well, and there's something to be said that for that whole cliche, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't want to become that person, listener, who is like, well, you know, I'm happy where I'm at, but I feel like I just need to try something new. And whatever, like if that's your style, by all means, go for it. I guess what I'm trying to very poorly say is there was someone in my life, and I won't say who this person was, who was very much like the poster child for the grass is always greener on the other side. And I saw it throughout their life, and it was it was more of a defeatist, like I am in a miserable place in life, but it'll be better only if I can go do this thing, or only if I can go do that thing. I guess that's what I'm cautioning against. Yeah. You know, Morgan, there's nothing wrong, right? Like with you, you're going, man, we're going through this rough stretch. I'm looking up outpatient stuff. Like I'm curious, you know what I mean? I want to see what's out there. Yeah, 100%. And that is a healthy thing. And so, no, I appreciate you opening up about that. You know what I mean?
Just asking for a friend. That's all.
Hypothetically speaking. Well, then before I close in, I guess it'll be a traditional welcome back manner, but it'll be untraditional compared to the standard episodes that I have here. But before we close in what will be the new traditional manner for these types of episodes, I do have one other question for you, and you've kind of already touched on it throughout, but that is this. How about your love for nursing? Has it diminished? Has it remained the same? Has it increased? And why?
I think it's stayed the same, if not gotten better, like stronger, I guess. I think that it's hard to be an inpatient nurse. It's hard to see some patients we've had for weeks. We recently just discharged a patient that had been there for 6 months. Like, it's hard to see people again and again and again. But it's also really incredible to, like I touched on in the beginning, to be with someone in a really vulnerable stage in their life. And, you know, I think that,
So everybody's so she's chuckling because there's
Sorry.
is it the fire alarm? Are you about
It
to
was
die?
the dishwasher.
It was the dishwasher. Hey, everybody, Morgan's dishes are done.
It's so distracting.
No, I promise you, nobody is going to hear that. So that's why I'm like pantomiming to her, like, no, it's okay, keep going. And she's like, she's lost it. So, yay. Okay, Morgan's dishes are done. Continue.
Done. That's my chore. No, in all seriousness, I think it's increased, but it's hard to see people again and again. But it's also really incredible to be such a special part of their life, like, you know, in a really vulnerable time, kind of like I touched on before. So it's hard, but I think it's made it more special to me to see people like in clinicals. We saw patients like one day, maybe again, if we had it back-to-back clinical day, but to be their nurse multiple days in a row and to know the people, you get to know the families so well, which that's my favorite part. Like I love to know the families and patients and where'd you come from? What'd you do? All the things. I've learned a lot, like obviously on the floor, but also from those patients, you learn so much. So I think my love for nursing has grown and it's like made me, you always think like, okay, where do I want to go next? Like, how can I, like you, how can I change the up and coming profession of nurses, you know? So it's, I think I made a good choice. I love nursing. I would recommend it. 10 out of 10.
Oh, I love it. And that's 1 year in, everybody. We're going to talk to 10-year Morgan, assuming this thing's still running. No, I'm just kidding.
2026 or 2036.
2030. Oh, I can't even.
Seems too long.
I get, my wife is like, she can't stand it because she'll be like, okay, so have you thought about this vacation in a few months and da-da-da. I'm like, it's way too far out there, man. I got too much stuff right now.
How about next week?
I know, let alone 10 years. Goodness gracious.
What?
Okay, so I don't know how this is going to work. We're going to try this. What the hey? But there's a few closing questions that I'm going to ask you, okay? The first one, I mean, I just want to get this one out of the way, but I'm also curious because I'm curious how it compares to where you were before. Because when we recorded, I wasn't asking the standard question, what are 3 of your favorite songs in life right now? But I think I did get 3, retroactively. I wrote to those of you that I hadn't asked that and got songs that were your favorite at the time. So, Morgan, what are 3 of your favorite songs in life right now?
Right now. I think I have like an OG one, but my 2 favorites recently have been Sun to Me by Zach Bryan and then See Me Now by Luke Combs. They're just like, I love good country songs. So those are definitely some vibey ones that I enjoy. And then this one, some people laugh at it, but I don't care. It's like my anthem song. Okay, like if I'm ever dancing or at a wedding or anywhere, I love Yeah by Usher. Like it's just I love it.
Zero judgment. Come on now.
It always puts me in a good mood. I'm not ashamed to say I listen to it on my way to work. Like it's just it makes for a good day. I just can't go without it.
Well, thank you. There we go. And people are going to be listening to it. I love it. And now going with these themes of 3 in your very first episode. I always ask everybody, what are 3 words, and still to this day, what are 3 words that you would use to describe nursing school? You had said honorable, reflective, and onerous. Do those still hold true, or would you change them? And if so, how would you change them?
I think that 2 of them do. Reflective and onerous definitely do. Reflective, we did a lot of reflecting in nursing school, and I don't know if it was just Gonzaga or certain professors, but at the time, I actually appreciated it, and I know it's hard to be reflective sometimes, especially in like a big group setting of 40 people. But naturally, that's really rolled over into my career. And there's days where I just like sit in silence on my way home, driving, like, did I care for that patient? Did I chart all their I's and O's? Like just little silly things that I'm reflecting on. And then like how I made the patient feel. Did I care for them in a holistic way? All those types of things are questions that run through my head. And I think that really stemmed from the reflective times that we had at Gonzaga, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the second one that I would keep is onerous. It's hard. Nursing school is hard. It's difficult. You're going to overcome and see so much. I feel like you see in nursing school more than what most people see in like their lifetime, if they're not in the medical world. So that's hard, especially when you're like 18 to 22 years old. If you transitioned right out of high school, it's really hard to see some of those things so young. Even now, I'm am I really old enough to be doing this? Or I've had comments of like, oh, you must be in your teens. And I'm like, well, I'm not that young, but thanks.
The nursing prodigy.
Yeah. I'm like, oh boy. So I would keep honest and I would keep reflective, but I would change notable to resilient just because I think, like I said, you're going to overcome so much and you're just going to have to like bounce back. Like I recently had a time where I cared for a patient end of life in one room and I watched them take their last breath, and that was so hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then you walk into the next room like nothing ever happened, and you have to be cheery and cheerful and smiley and just act like nothing happened, and that's hard. So being resilient in that way and just overcoming and being flexible with all that nursing has throughout you is what I would change it to.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to take a moment to pause here and say anyone who's listening who is not a nurse and who is a loved one of a nurse or was considering nursing school but has not been through that holiest of changes, most onerous of, and not honorable is what I'm talking about, that onerous, difficult change. But that focus on what Morgan just said, because it's so many times, and so many nurses, part of what contributes to maybe nurse cynicism is like when you have those shifts and you're dealing with some difficult stuff in one room, difficult social circumstances, somebody's dying, whatever, and you go into another room, and if you're doing your job right, you're making sure that patient doesn't know what you're doing, in the other rooms. And then that patient's getting all uptight because they didn't get their, med 5 minutes ago or, that sort of thing. And you got to check yourself. But all those of you that are not nurses, please, dear God, when your nurse comes in and maybe they're like 30 minutes late or 40 minutes late, I don't know, maybe they're a horrible nurse. But if they're not a horrible nurse and they genuinely seem to care about you, they more than likely were doing something like that, caring for someone taking their last breath, dealing with a social situation, dealing with a mental health crisis or a code or, you know what I mean? It could be any number of things. So I appreciate you saying that, Morgan, very much so.
You literally spoke my story. Like this family came out of the room and asked for my charge because I was late on their PRN med. And I, at shift change, was like, this is a PRN med. Like, I can't just bring it to you. It's a narcotic. Like, I can't just, lollygag and bring it to you. Yeah. And they were like, well, I asked for it an hour ago. And I was like, well, it wasn't available, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, I'm going to speak to your charge. I'm like, go for it. Here's my charge. So I brought my charge, and she's like, listen, she's like, this nurse just cared for an end-of-life patient in the next room. And they were like, oh my gosh. And of course I started bawling, Eric, in true Morgan fashion. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. They're like, it's okay. And, just kind of, like you said, like, just be aware that, like, nursing, you're not the only patient that I have. Yeah. I promise. And if you were, I don't know how I would be 100% attention on you.
I'd be hanging out in your room. We'd be talking all night. Like, yeah, that'd be it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, and I mean, and that extends to the whole, right? Like, just that general principle of putting yourself in somebody's shoes, and you don't know what somebody's walking through, et cetera, et cetera. Just in life, the person that cuts you off, the person that whatever, maybe they're, who knows? Like, if emotions are hard to keep in check. And so, when you get angry about something like that, then the best advice is, just using the being cut off, for example, you know what I mean? You get cut off in traffic, and now people are like, the road rage and all the things. I don't know. I just like, if somebody cuts me off, my instinct is to go, what an absolute jerk. What? This is ridiculous. And yet I just go, okay, I don't know if it's true or not, but if my mind goes, you know what? Maybe they're rushing to the hospital because somebody's dying. That's what I got to say to myself. And guess what? That mindset's fun. Yes. It just checks the emotions. It brings the emotion part down. Yeah. Well, it sometimes still takes a while, but it's there. It's a good first step.
It is. It's a good first step.
Now that you've been a nurse a year, what are 3 words you would use to describe the nursing profession?
I have 2 that are positive and 1 that's negative, so I'll start with negative. I'm just brutally honest, okay? That's all.
Yeah. No, 100%. Let's go.
My first one that's not so positive is overwhelming. And I know it seems negative, and it kind of could be negative, but it's true because you get shift change from 7 to 7:30 with the off-going nurse. And then in my fashion, I guess I sit down from like 7:30 to 8 o'clock if I don't have PRN meds or meds to hang or anything like that. And you're like looking at all the orders and looking at labs and meds and all the things and like planning your care for your patient. Assuming nobody needs you in that 30 minutes, which is often rare, but
Mm-hmm.
you really like that. Just looking at all those orders can be overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, walking into your shift and like driving to work is overwhelming. You have no idea what will be thrown at you that night. There's been times where I'm like, I love this set of 6. Like, can I have them all back tonight? I'll take 6, no problem.
Yeah.
And then the next night comes and I'm like, I could have taken 3 of them. Like, that was a horrible shift. It's total change. Same patients, total change.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably my one.
And very true. No.
But
very
it's true. And
very
I
true.
think even like on day shift, I think I was really overwhelmed. And part of it was because I was new and like I was learning so many things and policies and procedures and all the things. But even on nights, like it can be really easy to be overwhelmed, and just use your resources if you have them, and other nurses. If you see a nurse just sitting there and, you know, catching up with a coworker, then that's like a very appropriate time, trust me, to ask like, hey, do you mind going passing that med or helping my patient to the bathroom? I'm really drowning in my work right now. So
yeah,
use your people. My second one would be adaptable. Again, you have like doctors are throwing orders at you all the time. Even on night shift, we're getting new orders. Hospitalists are adding new orders. Like it's a 24/7 job. And I sometimes have to remind myself of that. Like if I don't get a daily wait done at 6 a.m., it's okay. The day shift can handle a wait. It's okay. So be flexible. Ask questions when you don't know it. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've taken out of nursing school, which maybe that's a question that you'll be asking. I don't know, but ask questions. Yeah, it's a great piece of advice from nursing school, but also the career. Yeah. And then my last one is compassion. It's so easy to be sad with a patient or, you know, go through all the emotions with a patient. But I think that when you first walk into a room, the light that you bring into a room and the cheerfulness that you bring into a room can really, that's like the first foundation for your trusting relationship that you're about to build with your patient. So compassion's a big one that you'll never lose, or you should never lose, I guess, in the career, because you'll always use it. So
yeah, I love it, Morgan. I love it. And I love that it's, I mean, these are fresh, you know what I mean? Like relatively fresh answers. And so you know, having been a nurse for 1 year, these are the 3 things you chose to describe what you're going through. And I absolutely love that.
Thank you.
So one last question. This is it.
Okay.
What is your one piece of advice, the greatest piece of advice you'd give to your former self? And by that, I mean the you that you were when you and I talked last 2 years ago.
I would tell myself that I'm more ready than I think I am. Every like clinical rotation, exam, patient interaction, everything, challenging shift that you had, everything makes you into the nurse that you are today. And I think without those challenges in school and the triumphs, everything in school, I wouldn't be the nurse I am today. That's like my one big piece of advice. I don't know.
And so no, just like degrees, that's the major. Now let's find out what the minor is.
The minor, but it's still a pretty major one. But
okay, double major. She's double majoring, everybody. It's on the very first. You are setting the standard so high for anyone who comes back. They're going to be like Morgan effing Johnson. All right, what's the other major piece of advice?
Keep asking questions. Like I loved questions in nursing school, and I still do. And if I don't know something, it's the first thing I do is I ask a question. I think that's the biggest way that you can advocate for a patient. And I'll be fully transparent. Like the other day, I had a wound vac, and I've never had a wound vac as a nurse yet. Mm-hmm. And we've seen it in school. Like we had a wound care nurse come and speak with us in lab and show us things, but it's so different to see it versus to document on it and chart it and see it in real life.
Yeah.
And so I was just fully transparent with the patient and the offgoing nurse. I was like, I've never had a wound vac. Like, can we just walk through it? And the patient was like, thank you for asking that. Like some nurses just try to do it by themselves without actually knowing. And I know better than the nurse. And I was like, well, you can teach me tonight. Like we'll learn it together. So never stop asking questions. If you're ever in doubt, you're advocating for your patients. asking the questions. So
Yeah.
that's those are my big two.
I love it. And you there's a semblance of requirement. Like you are required to check your pride for that second one. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
what stops you from asking the questions. And
for
so I
sure.
don't care if you've been doing it a year. There are some that have been doing it a long time. Like we were just talking about this the other day at the nurses station, literally just a few days ago at the nurses station, because we were all talking about like, no, these are like they it was a younger tenured nurse, been in the job a couple years, and she was like, I
Hmm.
love it when I hear you guys who have been here, allegedly the leaders, right? Those of us that have
Yeah.
been doing it a while, ask questions that even we feel like we should know the answers to, and yet we
Hmm.
don't, for whatever reason, or we can't remember,
Yeah.
And so she was like, that encourages me to hear you guys ask the questions because then it doesn't make me feel stupid when I'm asking my questions.
Right.
So
Yes.
it is major. It's true for your entire career.
Yeah. Also,
I
it's ever
lied.
changing, like policies are ever changing. And
Yes.
I feel like now they're coming out with like all these, which is awesome, but like new NG tube securement devices or
Yep.
new NG tubes for that matter, or all these things like you learn it in school, but you're not going to always use what you learned in school because it's ever
Yes.
changing. So
Yes. The
you'll always be
principles remain
learning.
the same, right? Like the
Yes,
placement and
100%.
all of that. But how we
Yes.
specifically do this, that, or that, even
Yeah.
including charting. That's another big
Yes.
example,
Oh
right?
my
Yeah.
gosh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I lied. I
Whew.
do have one last question for you. Do you own a
Okay.
set of blue scrubs?
I do.
I kind of figured you did. So the reason I was hoping you did, because the reason why I asked, and that's how I'm going to close, Morgan, is just that, first of all, thank you so much for taking time on your day off, you know what I mean, to flip
Yes.
around and talk nursing in the midst of your crazy busy last couple of weeks. That means so much to me, and I know it's going to mean every bit as much to anyone who's listening to you. But I just want to say, you know what I mean? Like I had this visual, of course, and like you talked about the pretty blonde nurse when you were 5, who had made such an impact on your life, and that was the very first impact that you had in this wonderful career. And you are going to, whether you're wearing those blue scrubs or not, one day being a blonde nurse wearing those blue scrubs, you know what I mean? You're going to have that impact on the future nurses, the future new hires that you precept. If you go to days, the future students you're going to have. Who knows where you're
Hmm.
going to end up, outpatient, inpatient. But I can see you already making an impact. You've already made an impact on my life, and you're making an impact
Thank you.
on listeners' life, and you're going to just continue to be that shining ray of sunshine that you have always been, and I can't thank you
Thank you,
enough for
Eric.
that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I have one question for you. I should have
Oh.
asked it when you asked about my goals.
Oh.
But what are the goals that you have for the podcast over the next year? I'm
Oh.
interested.
Oh. Number one
Pressure's
goal.
on.
No, number one goal. I've already got it at the top of my head, and it's low hanging fruit, and it's keep the thing alive. So let's,
Okay.
that's always been my number one goal. Just
Yeah.
let it have free flowing blood. You let that heart keep pumping.
Yes.
There's always this fear in the back of
Oxygenate.
your mind. It's a weekly release, right? Like I can
Mhm.
always extend that if I need to, et cetera, et cetera. So that's goal number one, keep the thing alive.
Yeah.
And goal number 2 for the next year, I really need to start supporting the business, have the business support itself instead of my wages supporting it. I've said it for the last 2 years, and so I have a wonderful designer friend who I paid to design these things for merchandise that I can't get off the ground. I don't have time. I haven't been taking the time to do it, and
Yeah.
but that is, I guess, that's my minor goal. It's not as major
Yeah.
as the first
I
goal.
don't know. That's pretty
Um,
major.
yeah, I'm not trying to make money. I just
Double
want the
major.
thing to support itself. That's all.
Yes.
That's all
Yeah.
I'm asking for. So,
Even if
yeah.
not make money. Yeah. Good goals. I love it. I'm
Awesome.
excited to see where it takes you.
I thank you for flipping the script, Morgan. And
Yeah.
it's just been a delight catching up with you. And I just wish you the best, my friend.
Thank you. Likewise. So nice to be back. Thanks, Eric.
Here's what's happening on the next episode of Feeding Our Young.
Okay, well, for our entire married life, and when I was a child, we traveled a little bit, like a 2-week vacation, but not extensively to the beach because we lived in Southern California. But from the moment I met my husband, we have always traveled. So traveling is a big thing. And next February will be our 7th continent and last that we've gone to. And consequently, I really love international nursing. I enjoy different cultures. And I like to see what I can do in other worlds besides the world of the United States. And we have been to about 50 countries so far.
Did you like today's episode of Feeding Our Young? Want to know more about the Feeding Our Young movement? Check out our website at feedingouryoung.org. Would you like to be featured on a future episode? Maybe have Eric bring his unique brand of encouragement to your nursing students or nurses? Please text us at 509-666-5636 or email us at info@feedingouryoung.org. We're so excited to have you return to hear our next honored guest. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Feeding Our Young LLC. Again, that's username Feeding Our Young LLC. Until next time, be encouraged and go find someone to encourage today.